This is Karman Corp in 2023, celebrating after winning their first round against Team Liquid in the second half of the game. This player couldn't even buy in the next round because he had to put his headphones back on. Now, this is Karman Corp in 2024, celebrating after defeating FNATIC for the final spot at Masters Madrid. This was a complete David and Goliath story. Karman Corp was the punchline of a joke last year.
You f***ing melons!
But this year, they defied all odds by not only defeating, but dominating the same FNATIC roster that won 2 back-to-back trophies. Karman Corp clearly underwent massive roster changes and even imported NA talent in Narrate, but what could they have possibly done to make FNATIC look so uncomfortable? In this video, we're going to take a closer look at the EMEA kickoff semi-final between FNATIC and Karman Corp. We're going to find out what made Karman Corp special and what they did so well that every single team, underdog or not, should learn from. This video is sponsored by Immortal Roadmap. If your rank is below Radiant, you play at least 2 to 3 comp games a day, and you've been struggling to rank up, our sponsor has a crazy offer for you. The Immortal Roadmap program will teach and help you implement everything you need to hit Immortal Plus in 8 weeks. They're so confident in their coaching that they are the only coaching program that offers a 5-division rank up in 8 weeks, guarantee or your money back. They've helped hundreds of students hit Immortal and Radiant, and their coaching staff consists of Konpeki and over a dozen Radiant coaches with VCT experience, such as Milan, who was an analyst on Ascend when they won Champs in 2021 and worked with Giants at Champs in 2023, Screwface, who's the 6th man on EG when they won Champions in 2023, and Gangsta, who played on Disguised, Immortals, and Knights. Sign up now because there are less than 22 spots remaining for the next season. Now, let's get back to how Karman Corp shocked the world by eliminating FNATIC. In my opinion, Karman Corp did 3 things incredibly well throughout the series. They were fearless challengers, they were incredibly prepared on defense, and they had the individual mechanics and team synergy to pull off all of their plays. All these things were shown by Karman Corp as early as map selection for the match. Map 1 was FNATIC's pick on Lotus. Since 2023, Lotus has been FNATIC's most played and one of their highest win rate maps by far. Before this match, FNATIC played Lotus 18 times and won 89% of all their matches on Lotus, but Karman Corp banned Ascent first, allowing FNATIC to pick their best map. Now, this was the first sign to me that Karman Corp were gigachads and had a real chance at winning. FNATIC are very much responsible for inventing the current Lotus meta, but Karman Corp fully believed in their own game plan, and we can already see why in the first round of the match. In this round, FNATIC are on attack and Karman Corp are on defense. Karman Corp immediately pushes A main while FNATIC are playing their standard setup to trade control of sides. Once FNATIC's weak side hears the push from A, the rest of FNATIC starts working towards C as expected. But Karman Corp are very prepared, and let me explain why they have one of the most impressive setups I've ever seen on defense. Karman Corp are playing full retake on C. However, their utility is still set up to stall and bluff that there are actually players on C to defend it. The Viper Orb and Killjoy Molly go up at the choke to scare FNATIC away from taking a free site. Their real plan is to trap FNATIC's weak side players, who are always either going to be in A main or B main. This is because they need to be close enough to hear what utility is actually being used on A so that they can push C in response. And watch how they peek into A main together and successfully kill Alpha. But their plan doesn't end here. Now Karman Corp are in a perfect position to retake Mound, since they have 2 players ready to open the door and 3 players on the flank. I'm going to go over some hypotheticals here, so try to stay with me. Attackers in FNATIC's position almost always take C in response to their lurker dying on A. If Karman Corp has to play retake on C, they will 100% be able to retake Mound and have an incredibly strong position. This Viper wall ensures that Karman Corp will have a great time entering the site from Mound, as it blocks off spawn side crossfires. FNATIC is already in a 4v5 and know that there are a lot of flankers, so they're probably going to push for more control. That's where this Killjoy turret comes in, which helps gather information on a push into Waterfall, especially considering that this angle is commonly smoked off, meaning the turret will get maximum value holding a smoke. Karman Corp have everything accounted for, but the funny thing is, FNATIC doesn't play into that line at all and opts into a full out brawl in their spawn. FNATIC is such a smart team, and we saw from last year that they won so many rounds without ever needing to take messy gunfights. But here they are, betting their entire round on a couple fights. So even though FNATIC ended up winning this round, Karman Corp were in such a strong position that FNATIC's best option, and remember this is FNATIC we're talking about, was to just fight it out like ranked. Watching this round from FNATIC's point of view felt really scary, and I immediately knew that Karman Corp were not messing around. Karman Corp's fearlessness showed throughout the entire series. They were never scared to force fights and really dictated the tempo on both maps by doing so. It's important not to let a team like FNATIC feel comfortable, and you can tell that they were consistently caught off guard by Karman Corp's pushes and traps. Here's another impressive defensive setup from Karman Corp on Split. Right now, attackers on Split are running two main defaults. One is instant ramp control, as you can see Sentinels doing in this following clip. The other is taking mid-control events by using a smoke to block off Mail. Sometimes both of these things are done at the same time to trap any players stuck in vents. Karman Corp are initially set up to fight for ramp, but as soon as they don't hear the instant utility in ramp, both players walk through vents towards mid. The rotators are able to dodge the flash since they're still coming up the rope, and on top of that, Narrate causes a distraction from B Heaven just enough for his teammates to be completely set up and ready for the swing into vents. Durka is caught completely off guard, and Karman Corp immediately falls back to maintain their advantage. FNATIC are desperately trying to get their trade back, but fail to do so. And Karman Corp were just making these types of plays the whole series. And you should remember that the effect of this type of play goes way beyond the current round. As you can see that FNATIC are extremely cautious of this exact same trap in a future round. Now they're preemptively using Skydog, Breach Stun, and a Raise Satchel to clear vents when nobody on Karman Corp is even there anymore. In these moments, you can really tell that Karman Corp are dictating the pace of the game, and FNATIC are just trying to catch up.
Martin's going hunting. He's after you, Alpha. Run, boy, run. The paranoia.
Even when they don't get kills off their pushes, Karman Corp are still able to force FNATIC into a tough spot. In this round on Lotus, Karman Corp 4-man push mound, and FNATIC must immediately decide whether or not to fight them back or run towards the opposite side of the map. Karman Corp are already fast rotating and use the revolving door to clear B main as well. Now, FNATIC have been forced towards A, where Karman Corp are already prepared to play retake on. This aggression means that FNATIC are never allowed to play out the round exactly the way they want and are always stuck in Karman Corp's universe. Either fight them or do what they expect. A big reason why Karman Corp are so confident at forcing fights is because they're just so good at it. Peeking together sounds simple, but it's so hard to execute as well as Karman Corp do it. When we look at these clips that I'm playing, Karman Corp's teamfighting passes the eye test, but the stats really show it as well. I looked at the top 4 teams from every region's kickoff tournament to see which teams had the highest trade percentage. In other words, how many trades did each team get compared to the number of times they died. Karman Corp were in the top 3 of trade percentages, further proving they are extremely skilled at fighting together and making sure that deaths aren't wasted. But take note how FNATIC are by far the lowest team on this list, and this hints at a problem they had last year and are continuing to have this year. In FNATIC's big losses last year against DRX and Loud, their setups were often way too spread out and punishable. Mid-round pushes would often cause FNATIC to lose players before they could set up to take a site, and FNATIC are already a slower attack side team. FNATIC took an average of 62.3 seconds to plant the bomb on attack last year, which was the second slowest team next to Na'Vi, while a team like Paper Rex are planting the bomb more than 14 seconds faster on average. Playing slower doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem. However, when FNATIC gets picked across on their defaults, they often run into situations where time is completely running out by the time they're hitting a site, and this gives defenders a huge advantage. This issue was never fully addressed and continued to happen multiple times throughout this series against Karman Corp, which not only puts pressure on them to stick the plant, but also makes their executes extremely predictable. FNATIC are definitely going to have to look at how to avoid time pressure on attack in the future. So FNATIC's pre-plant continues to have weaknesses, but one thing they are normally great at is their post-plants. FNATIC won 74% of all their post-plants last year, which is 7% higher than the VCT average. When we look at Lotus and Split in particular, which are the maps that they played against Karman Corp, FNATIC historically won 79% of all their post plants on Lotus and 77% of their post plants on Split. However, in this match against Karman Corp, FNATIC lost 10 out of 16 possible post plant situations, meaning they only won 38% of their post plants when they normally win double that. FNATIC were obviously not playing their best, but Karman Corp's retakes were one of the most impressive things I saw at this tournament. There was just so much creativity in some of these retake plays that made them so fun to watch. But you still have to remember that their defensive setups are pre-planned to account for certain retakes. For example, in this round on Lotus where we saw Karman Corp 4-man push Mound, they're fully planning to play retake on A. The Mound pushers still quickly rotate towards A, so they can control extremely important spots like Stairs and Heaven. Karman Corp have Killjoy ult and a Viper setup, which completely denies anyone trying to play a post plant off site, which means FNATIC are going to be forced to fight for the round on site. Now Karman Corp are set up to execute the retake, and just like they planned from the start, the entire round just comes down to a couple forced fights on site. FNATIC was never able to gain control of the post plants like they normally do, and being able to force FNATIC into chaos is just such an impressive feat. Overall, there were so many high pressure retakes that Karman Corp played calmly and clutched out over and over. I found myself often thinking that there's no way they win this retake, and they somehow managed to pull them off. Their coach even mentioned in an interview that he makes their players explicitly practice these scenarios against each other.
We train it kind of these moments, we call it internal training. Literally, we play against each other like 3v3, 3v2, these situations, and we just call, we just trying to simulate a lot of situations.
Karman Corp certainly showed the results of this training, and my guess is that all coaches are going to start doing this if they don't already. Karman Corp had everything: the big brain strats, the fearless duelists to lead the way, and the team fighting to make it all come together. I think it was obvious to everyone who looked really closely at their gameplay that their wins were not a fluke. This team is seriously no joke, and I'm as excited as everyone to see some new faces on the international stage. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments below what your favorite moments were and who you're excited to see at Masters Madrid. I'd really appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.